Okay, we're back on track. So, any thoughts on the question I just asked? What was my question again? I've forgotten. Had a quick break there. Someone asked if PMP's Stone Talk is similar to this. PMP's Stone Talk is actually quite different. Teacher Luo explained PMP's Stone Talk. It works differently. The method is called Stone Talk. It walks you through using the tool Hansen. If you're familiar with NPP's Stone Talk, you'll get the idea. Let's say it has a specific tool, for instance. Take user profiling, for instance. It walks you through the process step by step. In my coaching sessions, I use real-world examples to illustrate points. It's not quite the same, though. What was I asking about earlier? Could one of you remind me, please? It slipped my mind. This short break made me lose my train of thought. What were we talking about again? Thanks for that, P. Oh right, we were discussing what he did wrong. And what he did right. Let's hear your thoughts on this. In your opinion, what mistakes did he make? And what did he do correctly? Okay then. We're no longer down to just 10 people. We've gone from about 20 people to just 11 in no time. The freebie hunters have all left. He messed up. As we all know. He bypassed the chain of command, didn't he? That was his mistake. Some of you think his error was stepping on P's toes from the beginning. He still bypassed the chain of command. The correct action was his subsequent realignment. That's excellent. That's absolutely fantastic. We're unsure if he usurped the P's role, or if he was assigned the P manager's duties. The explanation suggests the P manager was swamped, so he stepped up to the plate. This incident actually reveals. We all know what it's like when a team has a high level of trust. The atmosphere is one of strong team cohesion. True mutual trust means not fearing mistakes. If I miss something, I'm confident my team will have my back. This creates a highly effective feedback loop. It's what we call having each other's backs. When your team reaches this level of trust, it's truly exceptional. This example illustrates how when the PE team faltered, manager he immediately stepped in. Manager he possesses an excellent quality. Proactivity. Proactivity, you know. Being proactive at work. It's like having a secret weapon. Just a little initiative goes a long way. You know, it's great when people compliment each other. Truth is, most folks just don't bother. They think, not my problem. I'm just support staff. I'm just an engineer. Forget about spotting opportunities to help. Maybe I'll notice the obvious stuff. But most people can't even see the tip of the iceberg. Everyone's off doing their own thing. They're totally blind to the gaps that need filling. Okay. So, the first die has been cast. Right. Now, what's the next level of this game? It's whether you're willing to step up when you spot it. Can you take charge and get it done? You'll see. Some folks are like, it's not my problem. Nobody told me to do it. No way, I'm not doing it. When things goes up, I'm the one who had to face the music. I'm telling you, I won't do it. Look, it doesn't matter if manager he wanted it or not. The fact is, he got the promotion. We only care about what people do. You know, in the corporate world, talk is cheap. It's all about actions. And his action was to take that promotion. In this case, if you're the project engineering manager, can you spot his strengths? Despite your initial conflict with constant opposition, can you, personally, see his positive qualities? That's how truly great leaders operate. I could delegate to him, but I haven't yet. When you have a group of people, you need to identify your most trusted assistants. You shouldn't just order them around, saying go do this. That approach won't be effective. The ideal scenario is this. Regardless of whether I choose to step down or am forced to, the fact is, I can no longer handle this task. Does anyone volunteer to take over? If someone steps up, it shows they have the right attitude. If he's willing to step up, it shows he's pretty capable too. Plus, he's good at reading the situation and knows I need backup right now. He's not just here asking for permission, right? No, that's not what I meant. If things go south, he might take the heat. That's on him, you know. You do it, you own it, right? Well, I think as a PE, you should kinda see this coming. As a department manager, they're likely to be pretty competent. They should be able to recognize talent. Now, let's turn the mirror on ourselves. If you're a private equity professional, are you able to put your feelings aside when a team member is butting heads with you and still see their good qualities? You know the saying, even difficult people have their merits. I see the good in everyone. But not all managers think this way, right? Some see everyone as total idiots. This one can't do this. That one can't do that. They'd love to outdo everyone at everything. They're like, this job, Joe can't handle it. Bob can't do it either. Everyone's got their issues. So they do it all themselves and work themselves to death. So, as a manager, which type do you want to be? Think big, right? Don't you agree? Xiao Tao mentioned yesterday, his regret was not learning PRINCE2 sooner, but he's glad it's not too late to start. Couldn't agree more. He actually joined my coaching class. If he hadn't, well, things could have turned out quite differently. After all, everyone needs a life coach. You've heard of executive coaches, right? Most big company CEOs have them. Their own personal coach. Sometimes the problem's pretty straightforward. But when you're in the thick of it, you can't see the forest for the trees. An outsider can easily see what's really going on. So, if you've got kids, or even if you're young and planning for the future, remember, you're your child's coach. Don't hover over them like a helicopter parent. Be a coach to your child. This will strengthen your bond with your child. A young student once told me, Manager P mentioned they had plans to mentor you, but they felt your people skills needed improvement. Luckily, you've shown growth in that area. They were considering recommending you for a position. Now they're reevaluating the situation. Well, at least it all worked out in the end. The issue has finally been resolved. Everything's going smoothly now. We're back on the right path. Wow. Then our project manager, Mr. P, who has real authority, took charge of the situation. Things were a mess at first, but he managed to make some breakthroughs. Let's see what happened next. How did things progress? Okay, great. The project moved forward. And by December, as we wrap up the project, everything's looking great. All our targets have been met, and we're within budget limits. Well, we did go over budget, but there's a set budget line, and we have some wiggle room. You know, a bit over or under is okay. As long as we're in that range, we're good. And the timeline, right on schedule. Actually, we've done amazingly well with this one. It's really quite an achievement. They've essentially met all the requirements. So, the results are pretty impressive. Now, who gets the credit for this? Who's behind this project's success? Put yourself in Director H's shoes. Who would you give credit to? Now, as the PE manager, what's your take? As outsiders, we'd all say it's the PE manager's win. But let's say you're Director He. Who do you think deserves the credit? Everyone wants to claim credit for it. They definitely choose me. I mean, I truly believe I'm the one who did it. Don't you think? That boss is completely useless. Didn't lift a finger. The PE manager knew how to lead. Mister, he carried out the plan perfectly. Mister, he got so much out of it, too. Oh, wow. You got a good point there. That's an interesting way to look at it. Let's imagine we're in their position. What if this happened to someone you know? Or even to you personally? Could you really be that objective about it? This situation involves leadership. It's about the manager's good leadership, even if he's not your direct boss. Now, let's look at a different scenario. Does this ever happen in companies? At year-end meetings, people often give speeches. You hear a lot of, well, you know. They ramble on about their accomplishments. Yeah, right. It's all thanks to the bosses for giving me this chance. They're such great leaders. I'm just following orders. It's no big deal, really. Sound familiar? We hear this all the time. But if you were in director his shoes, would you honestly feel the same way? Absolutely not. Okay, so here's the thing. This right here is a crucial point. This is crucial. I'll cover this point in detail in my upcoming course on human nature. It's all about learning gratitude. Whether someone deliberately put you in a position of real authority, or it happened by chance. The fact is, you gained real project management experience. Shouldn't you feel grateful for that? This is crucial for resolving his issue this time around. Okay, let's explore why this is so important. As we integrate modules and roll out the training program, let's talk about the software manual. It covers the transition of our project into the operational phase. Our PE department represents the end users, right? We're archiving and finalizing project documents. Wrapping things up. We're reaching a successful conclusion, ending up with a complete project documentation and a 3-page completion report. But here's the thing, this project was flagged by GM who invited all departments to the acceptance meeting. Except me, the PE department manager didn't invite me. So, what do you make of that? Imagine you're the PE manager. Why didn't you invite Mr. P? Now, put yourself in Mr. P's shoes. How would you interpret this situation? Was it just for department heads? That's not clear. He implied it wasn't limited to managers in other departments. Each department was involved. The IT manager wasn't specifically mentioned. But let's assume he heads the IT department. But without the official title, their IT department might be understaffed, with only 2 or 3 people. And just one director overseeing everything. It's not uncommon, actually. The boss is trying to cut costs, disguising it as flat management. That could be the case. If so, it explains the situation. Everyone from other departments was invited, except him. Can you guess what? If we were in his shoes, put yourself in their shoes. Would it affect you emotionally? Would you be satisfied? Okay, let me pose this question to all of you. Think it over and give an honest answer. Let's move on with our discussion. Alright, this review matters a lot to me. I'm particularly interested in observing the management's attitude during this review. How management handles the project. Everything seems to be going well. My colleagues from various departments and my colleagues from other departments, have opinions about this project. I'm also keen to hear the third-party software company's perspective. After working with them for so long, I'd like to get their input as well. Missing this acceptance meeting means I can't consolidate the wealth of project experience. Without feedback, things like customer satisfaction surveys are all missing. I have no idea what I did right, or where I need to improve. This project means a lot to me. Honestly, if it goes well, it'll be a big win for me. So I asked the PE manager about it, about how the acceptance meeting went. All he said was approved. Pretty frustrating, right? Some say the PE manager finds him arrogant, partly due to his reporting to higher-ups before. They want to take him down a peg or 2. He's still riding high on his recent success. Any other worries we should address? Well, about that, if we look at it from this angle, the PE manager is actually a decent guy. It seems they just want to knock him down a notch. And use the monthly report thing to teach him a lesson. Could there be another reason? Not inviting Mr. He to the review meeting. What are they trying to avoid? Can anyone guess? What are we trying to avoid here? Oh, I got it. Stealing the spotlight. He might not try to steal the spotlight. Baby. But there's an equal chance that he will steal the spotlight, claiming he did everything himself. You think he would? So who's really gonna hold the glory? Can you guess who's most likely to? The PE manager, for sure. Absolutely, it's bound to happen. It's not about being a good person. The PE manager knows how people tick. It's human nature to want the credit. Even if he keeps quiet, he'll definitely give the cold shoulder. No doubt about it. Okay, so, from Mr. H's point of view, how does he interpret this situation? Does he think the PE manager is stealing the spotlight? I did all the work. Now, at the project completion meeting, when it's time for recognition, when it's time to credit the achievement, you leave me out. Isn't that stealing my thunder? Exactly. Alright. So, for the boss, is he getting worked up again? Is he losing his cool? In the end, all he said was approved. Nothing else. Not a word. Okay, got it. Alright. Let's see how Mr. He is feeling about this. He shared his thoughts on the matter. He even highlighted this part in red. First off, I'm feeling pretty down. I feel like I've been taken advantage of. Totally used. Let's use a different color. This one's too harsh. Used and abused. Then tossed aside when they were done with me. I feel utterly defeated. Secondly, the third-party software company acts like a doctor, and I'm the patient. Nah, the PE manager is like my family member, and the doctor tells them I'm cured, but doesn't inform me directly. Instead, they go straight to the PE department manager. Now, put yourself in the patient's shoes. How would you feel? Wouldn't you question if you're really cured? Am I really all better? Have I recovered completely? Would you worry about serious long-term effects? Would you think I'm cured now? Is it just temporary? Maybe it's just a false recovery. Why else wouldn't the doctor just tell me? Now, about the acceptance process. Here's how the acceptance works. During acceptance, the PE manager reports on project progress. The two final systems are then assigned to the PE manager for use in the PE department. As for the IT department, it's considered a supporting role. The acceptance process now involves only two parties. Initially, they expected 3 parties to be involved, but now it's down to 2, essentially cutting the IT department out of the loop. That's the current state of affairs. Okay, our colleague Xiao Chao says, it's actually better if the director is not there. It'd be worse if the PE manager ignores you at the meeting. You might not be able to keep your cool, and that would hurt your reputation with the higher-ups. Some might think. So the PE manager decided not to invite him, which turned out to be a blessing. He might not have been able to hold back, and causing a scene would have been troublesome. So, looking at it this way, the PE manager actually protected him. It was in his best interest too. Now, let's address his concerns. This concludes our second case study. Let's examine his problem. First point. As this software gets used more often, problems are bound to arise. Should I keep working with the vendor to improve it? Or since I wasn't at the acceptance, can I just wash my hands of it? Okay, second, I wasn't at the acceptance. I don't know what was discussed there. So if problems come up later with the project, am I on the hook for it? Okay, what kind of issues might come up? If the PE manager just signed off on it, or grudgingly approved it, should I shift the blame in this case? Okay, about the satisfaction survey for software number 4. I didn't get the survey results. What if many users are unhappy? Do I need to respond? These were the thoughts of our GM, Mr. P. It shows he's a real thinker. He likes to mull things over. After the second QA session, we finished our analysis. Once we were done, how about I hold off on the conclusion? It'd spoil the fun if I gave away the answer. Let's give it some thought first. So, about these 4 questions Director He raised. Are they really the key issues here? I mean, Are they truly central to the problem? Or whose shoes is he putting himself in? What role is he assuming when he asks these questions? He's making a mountain out of a molehill. He's tying himself in knots over this. He's got quite the imagination running wild. He's not even a key stakeholder. It doesn't even concern him directly. He's the one calling the shots on this project. He's been pushing this whole project forward. If things go south, success or failure, once delivered, it's in after-sales hands. That's how it's supposed to work, in theory. But he wasn't at the handover meeting. So he's in the dark about the details. He's pretty clueless. So what's eating him? These 4 questions reveal. He's paranoid the PE manager might have thrown him under the bus. Can you all see what's going on here? He's really worried the PE manager might be setting him up. Let's say the PE manager spots a problem, but grudgingly signs off on it anyway. Then later, when it's in use, issues pop up. The PE manager's gonna want someone to blame. You see where this is going? And who's really pushing this? Manager he. So he's really stressing about this. In the second coaching session, he brought this up, saying he's pretty worried. What if I end up being held responsible? If things go south, will they kick me out? They said without the boss's signature, I wouldn't be held responsible. But let's be real, the signature's just part of it. You all remember the other thing, right? The scapegoat, the temp worker. Ring a bell. The news always says the temp couldn't have actually signed anything. But they always take the fall. The one who accused you falsely. He knows you're innocent better than anyone. He didn't even show up for the acceptance meeting. So it's all up in the air. Let's take an outsider's view. Based on these questions, can we figure out what kind of person Mr. he really is? Let's all give Mr. he a tag. That's the PE manager's genius. Now, a tag for the PE manager. Let's tag these 2 guys. Let's talk about our protagonists. How would you describe these 2? What's your take on their personalities? A smart PE manager would bring in Mr. He. Why is that a clever move? Mr. He is highly responsible. He's full of ideas. Pretty great, right? Anything else? There's a key point here. It's how the PE manager sees Mr. He. This shapes Mr. He's future in the company. Mr. He is incredibly dedicated to his work, but he's a bit too straightforward for his own good. Both of you have done an excellent job with your writing. Now, let's hear from the rest of you. We've got 11 of you in this group chat now. Don't be shy, let's all chime in. I want everyone to get involved. Remember, this coaching session is all about your participation. I'm just here to facilitate the discussion. Looks like we'll only have time for 2 topics today. We'll probably have to skip the 3rd topic. We're still working through Mr. His second point. There's an awesome twist coming up at the end. For the next 25 minutes, let's focus on Manager He, shall we? It's all about Manager He today. The PE manager is a born leader. You wouldn't guess it from looking at him, though. As long as he's not a total screw-up, we're good. So, once this whole thing was over, manager, he went to see our P manager, right? But the P manager gave him the cold shoulder. He just said the project was approved and that's it. End of story. Subsequently, he went back to the IT department and resumed his role as a network engineer. Xiao suggested that if the P manager had involved Mr. He and promoted him more, successes would reflect well on the manager, while failures would be attributed to Mr. He's execution. In the acceptance meeting, they highlight the positives, and the key person would give the presentation. Essentially, they'd get all the credit. Consider this scenario. If you brought someone who knows more details than you, imagine you bring someone who knows more details than you. Then, when the boss asks a question, you're stumped, but they nail it. Tell me, how does that make you feel? Wouldn't you want to get rid of them? You definitely want them gone. So I think the PE manager is absolutely right. You can't bring that person along. There's no way to justify bringing them. If you're thinking of undermining the boss, you might end up getting burned yourself. Staying out of it keeps you in the clear. A good PE manager should be eager to back Mr. He. Of course, they'll invite him. Just trying to give him the boost, you know? Okay, let's get to the point, shall we? Let's work backwards, alright. We'll start from the actual outcome and work backwards. Let's break it down. So, about 2 weeks later, Jun sent me this. It might have been 2 weeks, 3, or maybe a month or so. Something like 3 or 4 weeks. He sent me this particular message. He said, let me share some good news from the instructor. We've kicked off a new factory project in Thailand. This afternoon, the senior management team held the kickoff meeting for the Thailand project. During the meeting, I was appointed as the MES software engineering lead for the project. I'm now in charge of the MES system for the entire Thailand factory project. HR's already sent the official appointment. He then said I was still hung up on the last project, but I never expected this opportunity so soon. I was thrilled to be part of our coaching sessions. Okay, let me ask you this. He's now heading the second project, with complete control over it. So he's basically running the show. That's clearly a promotion online, isn't it? Before, he was just let's say he was a network engineer. To put it more clearly, maybe a team lead with 2 or 3 people. Now he's leading an international project. How many rings did he jump? That's gotta be a promotion, right? I'm not familiar with the complexity of manufacturing execution systems. I'm not really sure how big these systems usually are. He must have been promoted at least 2 levels. So he's at least a project manager now. Their company might not have a project director position. Wow, given this outcome, I wonder if this comes as a surprise to you all. Did you see that coming? I may have hinted at this before. Some of you keen observers might already know. He actually got promoted in the end. Just in case you missed it. Were you caught off guard? He wasn't kicked to the curb. He wasn't let go or fired. I caught the end of it last time. MES can be implemented on any scale. I had no idea. I thought the new Thai factory project, for his work in manufacturing, an international project seems fine to me. Letting him lead one is not a bad idea. Okay, let's work backwards on this. He worked his way up to project leader. So, who was responsible for his promotion? Who backed his advancement? Upper management. He's constantly reporting to those higher-ups. So the top brass noticed his skills, didn't they? Someone suggested it was the PE manager. The management team. Okay, let's consider the PE manager's role. He landed the role of Thailand project leader. Did the PE manager give him a hand or not? So, did they? They must have, don't you think? Yes, they definitely helped. Think about it, a company promoting someone 2 levels up the ladder. It couldn't have happened if his former PE manager hadn't vouched for him. There's no way he could have gotten that promotion. The company always consults others for their input, like asking if he's fit to be a team leader. They'd ask for feedback from all his co-workers. So, was the PE manager his guardian angel? Despite their initial conflicts, the minority shareholder says it didn't hurt his chances, at least. There's no doubt he didn't throw any roadblocks. In fact, I'm sure he helped him out. If he'd just stayed neutral and not helped, I bet he wouldn't have gotten promoted. Neither would President He. He must have helped him, no doubt. So why did the PE manager help him? Let's think about it. What did this mean for President He? Someone said when vetting top executives, they always ask the PE manager's opinion. Yeah, that's exactly right. They've recently worked together on a project. Simply put, the PE manager is his boss. They'll definitely consult the PE manager. This is where it gets crucial. What exactly impressed the PE manager about Mr. He? What caught the PE managers, leading to a glowing recommendation? The PE manager thought the system runs smoothly. It shows competence. Plus, Mr. He finally got it. He's matured and stopped causing issues. He learned to share the glory. The main thing is, he didn't try to steal the spotlight. As our 2 colleagues just pointed out. For one, this guy's pretty capable. He also knows how to step up when needed. Sure, they had their differences before, but he got over it pretty fast. It shows he's got a good head on his shoulders. Really quite mature, actually. He's great at rolling with the punches. Plus, he's not afraid to take charge. He's a real thinker, too. I wonder what they actually said to each other. We're not sure if Director He mentioned it or not. He was strict at first, but then backed off. From this, we can see what kind of person the PE manager is. He's actually a pretty good guy. He recognized Director He's potential. Now, here's another question. After Director He received the appointment letter, what should he do? Because, for one thing, the PE manager would never tell him. Hey, He, congrats on becoming the team lead. I was the one who recommended you, you know. That wasn't mentioned. So there's a chance Mr. He isn't aware of this. If he hasn't thought it through. Anyway, he later joined our coaching sessions. We suggested to him that he should visit Mr. He to express gratitude. That, to say thanks, you know. But he told us he hadn't even considered it before. It was only after we suggested it that everyone in the class pitched in with ideas. It never even crossed his mind back then. He simply thought the higher-ups noticed his skills. So, what happened next was, let me fill you in on the details. Oh, I didn't finish explaining that part. Later, he had a chat with the PE manager. But he didn't treat him to a meal or anything. Didn't give any gifts either. Later, he pulled me aside for a private chat. I told him, you just missed out on a golden opportunity. Any guesses as to why? Exactly. Xiaoyes got it right. Let's talk about the new PE project. What challenges might we face? What chance did he blow? The PE manager won't lift a finger for him ever again. The PE manager saw that he was competent and reliable. But here's the thing. If the PE manager wanted he to work under him as his go-to guy, there's one crucial factor: appreciation. Is he the type to show gratitude? If he's not grateful, there's no way he'd give him a promotion. That's from the PE's point of view. Now, if we look at it from manager's perspective, in this situation, he can't just, having just been promoted to project manager, he can't claim all the credit for his rise. He needs to find a mentor right away. This is the perfect chance. The PE manager is his best bet for support. He should definitely thank the PE manager. And as someone suggested, ask for guidance. Now that he's the project lead, he should approach with humility and ask the PE manager for guidance to gain some insights, or even become his apprentice. This approach would be more reliable. In Chinese culture, the master-disciple relationship is valued. The saying goes, a day as a teacher, a lifetime as a father. If they formalize the apprenticeship, it's a whole different story. Now, this PE manager hasn't lifted a finger on this project. In the end, the project was a success and delivered results. As for his future promotion prospects, that remains to be seen. But this case clearly shows that this PE manager is pretty impressive, really knows his stuff. So joining the PE manager's team now, given that this PE manager is in such a key role, and the company made him project lead, after heading 2 previous projects, he must have some serious pull. So basically, he's picked his team. It's about picking a side now. You've got someone watching your back. In fact, this is even more crucial than his role in managing the Thailand project. See what I mean? Let's be real, the PE manager can make or break him. They can lift him up or tear him down. It's up to Director He to play his cards right. I pulled him aside later to remind him again. I asked if he'd followed up on my advice. I said, did you take that cop out for a meal? He said he hasn't invited him yet. I told him I reminded him once more. I suggested he should look for a chance. Make sure to pay a visit during holidays. And don't forget to mention the issue again. Remember to show your appreciation. He must have gone out of his way for this. There's no way he didn't help. He'll definitely put in the effort. He surely sang your praises. He talked you up. Some say being on a team is a double-edged sword. Going solo is way worse. Staying neutral, that's even more brutal. You'll end up with everyone against you. You're flying solo, basically. You're not even part of the big leagues yet. Like our buddy said, people who sit on the fence are the first to fall. Teams are smart to get big shot advisors. Yep, that's exactly it. Anyone who thinks they can go it alone and solve everything ends up in a mess everywhere. For real. I've no clue how complicated their company is, though. Expanding into Thai specialties. I even came up with a clever idea for him. You'll see. Isn't he in charge of the Thailand project? So I pitched him this idea. I told him to approach the procurement manager. Have him be your mentor, for one. Or make him a consultant for the Thai project. Or even offer him the role of project director. If the company's on board, bottom line is, you've worked together before. After collaborating on a couple more projects, you'll build a great rapport. If the company doesn't assign you a good manager, treat the previous one as a mentor and advisor. Consult them now and then, playing dumb even when you know the answer. Bring up some work issues. Give them a call for a friendly chat. Look for minor issues to discuss. And ask for their input. Then, act surprised and say, or they really helped me out. Then, send them local delicacies every month as a thank you. You can send local specialties. Or during holidays, you can buy some gifts. When you often ask for small favors, you should also provide some feedback or show your appreciation in return. I believe this approach will help you succeed in the company. I'm not sure if you all agree with this method. It's a different situation, though. Actually, all of these skills can be learned through PRINCE2, which covers everything once you've completed the course. We have some time left, so let's discuss this further. We'll actually pick up all of these skills quite well through PRINCE2. Naturally, PRINCE2 comes from the British Project Management Framework. It's a project management methodology. You know, it's considered a global best practice. In this 7th edition, they've added a lot of new elements like AI, big data, and such. These are the kind of things that are now called new productivity tools, you know? They're pretty trendy right now. All these cutting-edge tech topics are now included in the methodology. But remember, it's still just a general methodology at its core. So that's what you'll find in our 7th edition. We'll dive into 19 detailed sections. Now, about his success with this project. Whether it was skill, luck, or whatever else. The fact is, he landed an international project. In my opinion, this international project. He definitely grabbed this opportunity. Of course, he put in the work too. These days, landing international projects is tough for most people. Take our CSBM certification, for instance. For level 4 and 5 exams, you need international project experience. Most people lack this kind of experience. So yeah, he got pretty lucky there. Or maybe they're just really good at what they do. You know, luck is a skill in its own right. Right. So, how do we actually move these projects forward? We'll go over all of this in the 7th edition of PRINCE2. Like, what are our guiding principles? With staff, it's all about getting the right people on board. So, at the heart of it all, we're dealing with people first. You see, then there's our hands-on approach, our past certifications, and of course, our tried and true processes. This process is crucial. Now, let's take a look, shall we? The process itself. This is the absolute cornerstone of the entire 7th edition. It puts people at the heart of everything. Through hands-on practice. Based on project scenarios, principles, and processes, we've developed a methodological framework. Within this framework, we'll explore 3 key aspects, including successful change management. We'll also delve into team communication. As for our guiding principles, we have 7 in total. For instance, learning from past experiences. I've been stressing why he should consult with a superior to actively learn from past experiences. Next, let's discuss our practical approach. We have 7 key practices in place. Then there's our crucial workflow process. This is the essential workflow we follow. Project advancement is absolutely crucial. Each of the 7 processes has its own detailed flowchart. It specifies which documents you'll need, when and which leader to approach, what specific information to obtain from them, and what decisions they need to make. What kind of authority will you be given? Right. There's a whole page dedicated to this. Our project guidance process is illustrated in this case study. The PE manager's role is to handle these responsibilities, such as authorizing project initiation and launch, authorizing different project phases, offering guidance, you know, and authorizing project closure. Honestly, this case study doesn't fully demonstrate all this, but I'm pretty sure the PE manager is actually handling this task. So why isn't he involved in the day-to-day coordination? He's just not interested in doing that. He sees himself as the project director. Or maybe he just doesn't have the experience. Any of these could be the case, you know? Okay, moving on. Here's a comprehensive chart. I strongly suggest that once you've studied this chart, you keep it on your desk for reference. Take a good look at it. Now, just to confirm, is the exam scenario-based too? Or is it about invoicing? Yes, it's scenario-based. Take a look at this. The 7th edition exam book features 4 case scenarios. The exam will choose 1 scenario from these 4. Each scenario has 2 question sets, so there are 8 sets in total. You won't know which one you'll get in the exam. Now, here's an example scenario. This one's about time boxing in Agile projects. This one here is about standard projects, okay? The briefing session covers predictive projects. And as for this next one, the 3rd scenario deals with hybrid projects. Now, let's look at our 4th project. It's the prediction project. All 70 questions are based on this single case study. This is the general background for the case. We'll cover the roles involved next. Why do we focus on dealing with people? Because people are at the heart of this entire project. The exam scenario also involves multiple people. Let's count how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes about 10 people, doesn't it? There's only 10 people on the first page. There are 2 or 3 more pages after this. So, about 17 or 18 people altogether. You'll get some background info. Then you'll need to sort out their relationships. Who should handle this? Okay. You'll encounter these kinds of scenarios. Now, about the specific questions. Let's take a look at them. Wow. That's what the questions look like. Take a look at these practice level questions we have here. They're specifically designed for CSPM 3. These are the exact types of questions you'll face. So it's really hands-on stuff. Now, it's not identical to the real exam, of course. But compared to other project management exams, this one's actually giving you targeted practice. Once you've got the basics down, you move on to the practice level. Once you pass the exam, you can immediately start applying these skills. You'll be ready to take on the job right away. I have to say, Baidu's content is really, really amazing. The thing is, it's not really promoted much in China. Basically, their official marketing team in China isn't up to par. It'd be great if you could help spread the word. So, if any of you are interested, or if it could be useful for your job, I'd recommend checking it out. Anyway, by the way, is the exam open book or closed book? That's right. Good luck with talking to the company, okay? Let's hope we'll hear about the Baidu course at the C3 event. I've already covered the exam and both course modules. Alright, got it. Let me double check on that real quick. Let's figure out how to approach this. I really want you to switch to the new system. Simply having access to it isn't enough. You need to actually take the classes too. You know what'd be ideal? Instead of taking the official exam, we have a set of practice papers at our center. You could give one of those a shot. What do you think? Don't you think it's great to participate? Right. We've just breezed through another set of exercises. You've attended the lecture too. And we've reinforced it through testing. Because if you only attend lectures without being tested, without measurable outcomes, you might not actually learn as effectively. Alright. That concludes our class for today. I'm curious to know how you all felt about today's class. We covered the 2 problems quite slowly today. It's a classic example, after all. C4. There's no substitute for C4 at the moment. Have him make the call. No worries. Why don't you start with PMP? PMP is an excellent choice too. That's great. I appreciate your feedback. These will become classic examples. After taking this course, I hope you'll encounter similar cases yourself. I hope in our upcoming classes, you'll be the one asking questions. How's that sound? We can dive into these topics together. Our classmate today, Shaoyi, also known as Ding Yichu, has already shared some great examples with us. That's fantastic. These could become our go-to examples in the future. PMP is a bit more recognized here in China, you know. It's been around for years. A full 20 years, in fact. P2, on the other hand, is the new kid on the block. It hasn't really made a big splash yet. Now CSPM has entered the scene. CSPM is set to dominate the field in the future. P2 and CSPM 3 certifications are interchangeable. These certifications are mutually recognized. It's mentioned in the documentation. It's a reciprocal arrangement. You can exchange either certification for the other. CSPM can be exchanged for P2, and vice versa with P2 for CSPM. I'd recommend getting CSPM and exchanging it for P2. CSPM is more affordable. P2 costs more. The P2 exam costs 4,300 yuan. It's a bit pricier than the others. If you have CSPM level 3, you can swap it for the P2 practitioner level. I'll talk to the company about it later. We'll see if we can arrange the course in some way or another. If you go for the certification exchange, we can make it available to you. Or something like that. We'll check the policy when the time comes. Of course, the company might need to consider this carefully. My idea now is to offer this course to those swapping certifications. Feel free to take a look. But keep in mind there might be a fee. It's up to the company to decide. Now, regarding the exam, You won't need to take the official test. Our current exam will suffice. This ensures a low-cost certificate renewal for you. Alright. So, think about your specific circumstances. Weigh all factors carefully. Okay. Got it. Still, thanks so much for your continued support, everyone. Not much of a crowd today, huh? Yesterday was busier. My sessions used to draw about 140 people, you know. Now the numbers are dropping off, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because they're not pushing P2 much anymore. The company's got this priority system, you see. Since CSPM came out, they've kinda stopped pushing P2. It used to be buzzing with over 140 people. No promotion today, I guess. Alright then. Guess I'll have to chat with our ops team about this. Let's figure out what's going on here. None of the groups shared the post. That explains it. Discussions are more fun with more people involved. Coaching sessions are all about exchanging ideas. It's not about right or wrong. It's about sparking new insights through discussion. We learn from each other's experiences. That's what really matters. I'm glad you're all taking this to heart. I really appreciate your support, guys. It's great to still have 12 of you with us. Alright then. I'll make sure to remind the operations team to promote this more in the future. Yeah, definitely. I still believe that. I'm sure that those of you who joined the class really appreciate the content we've covered. Great. So, I got a question from someone. They're asking for some of us. They've been doing some freelance work. But now their boss is asking them to handle the invoicing process. I'm handling contract management now. Debt collection's becoming a real mess. Even the boss is confused about my role now. But he still wants me to handle it all. What should I do? Just keep at it. It's about finance and admin folks. Marketing and sales. No, wait, you're the general manager now. Matt. I'm in. You're the GM now, aren't you? That's great. Looks like the boss is giving you a shot. Big cheese. I'm a bit fuzzy on the details here. But from what you've told me so far, it sounds like you're all over the place. So you're the executive assistant, right? I can't really make a call on this. You'll see. If you've got what it takes. There's one key thing to consider. Are there growth opportunities for you there? If an opportunity arises, seize it and keep pushing forward. If there's no opportunity, don't force it. Don't push yourself too hard. Remember, your health comes first. The company will profit with or without you. Now, since you haven't given me all the details, for our next coaching session, I'd like you to submit your questions. Try to be as detailed as possible. Let's follow Hee-jun's example of teaching his wife today. Try to cover all the details. How about we brainstorm together? Right. Many have complained about lacking information. It's different when dealing with a few versus hundreds. The approach varies significantly. Okay. So, when it's time, I'm not sure which class you're in. When I send out the survey, I won't be sending it to everyone. I typically share the latest updates in the group I'm currently part of. Once I've shared it with my classmates, if we've received enough responses, I'll stop sending reminders. So keep an eye out for that, okay? You know what, moving forward, I'll post updates on my WeChat moments. Specifically, on my WeChat work moments. Don't forget to fill it out, alright? Okay then. That's all for now. Alright then. See you all later. What about you?